Hi, my name is Catherine, and I'm going to be going over with you today Lesson 1 of the Physical Science unit for kindergarten. And this whole unit would work really well with a Five Senses unit or an All About Me unit that you were using in your classroom. I would start this lesson by introducing that we're going to just use our eyes, the sense of sight today, and we're going to learn about objects in our world in the classroom and what these different objects are made of. This would be a good opportunity to talk about metals, plastic, cloth, wood, and kind of hold up some different items from the classroom and just make a general statement that this is made of wood or this is made of cloth, and just start using those observation skills. We could also show an item that they're familiar with from your classroom, something as simple as something that would be on your desk. And you could hold up, for instance, this little file folder, and the kids could say, well, it has stripes, it looks like it's hard, it's made of plastic, it's smooth. And if they use words like smooth, perhaps going back and reminding them that they're just talking about sight and that they should only be using their eyes to make those observations. And I like to, at this point, talk about using that word observe and using that observation vocabulary so that the kids in class are using that and kind of becoming familiar with being scientists. And they like using that big lingo because they feel like scientists. So the first part of the lesson is to look at pictures that are up close. What they're going to do, there's a lot of neat pictures here, and you can even tell the kids that this is pictures that they might see if they were looking under a microscope because they're up close or using a magnifying glass. And we're going to look at the picture and then we're going to share what we think that picture is. So the first picture is a little easier to see. The kids could look at it and say, well, I see some what look like petals, they're white in the background. They could say, here I see some what look like sticks that have orange tops. And then after kind of describing the object, they could take a guess on what it is. There's a lot of different neat pictures. You might want to talk about what they're made of. This one looks like it's made of metal. This obviously is a natural object. You could talk about living and non-living at that point and have the kids have a group discussion at that point. And then the second part of this is something I did as a whole group when I taught the lesson, but it might be something you could do in a small group or as part of a center. What it is it's using a viewfinder. And what's really neat about this and what the kids really like about it is that you're going to open up a small portion of the picture, and you're going to take guesses and kind of describe what they see under each door, and talk about what they see, what colors it is, and then after opening all the windows, they're going to make a guess on what the whole object is altogether. So what the tricky part about this is that you have to hold your viewfinder down so the kids can't see the pictures. And you're going to slip it in, and this is why it might be a little easier to do this as a small group. But you're going to slip it in here. And then what I did is I just held it up for the group to do, and I had one child come up at a time, and they would open the window and say, oh, I see just black, and there's a small bit of white in the corner. And the kids would just kind of go through in order. And that's kind of important that they do them in number order, so they're not going to the middle piece first, which might give more of a clue. And the kids loved doing this piece. The only tricky part for you as the teacher is to slip them in without kids kind of looking underneath and trying to guess what it is. The crayons might be a good one to start with because it's a little more obvious, and you can kind of order them in the way that you think is the best. And then what I like to do at the end of this lesson is to have kiddos find objects around the room, and they bring them back to the whole group and kind of describe it and talk about it and tell the class that they're seeing using those observation words, and also use the words for the different materials. And what's really nice about this lesson is that if you are teaching the Treasures ELA curriculum, There is in the Treasures series a big book that is called Look Closer, and that would be a great book to use as part of this unit as well and kind of cross over to your literature unit.